Welcome to Renfrewshire on the outskirts of Glasgow in Scotland, located on the southern banks of the River Clyde and stretching to the moors to the southwest. Renfrewshire is one of Glasgow's main commuter areas, with Paisley as its administrative centre. We're here at the Braehead Arena, the venue for this year's Gruyère European Curling Championships. And our featured game here in session one is going to be from the men's event, Scotland versus Denmark. My name is Logan Gray, and alongside me, 2002 Olympic champion, Rona Howie. Good morning, Rona.
Good morning, Logan. So, lead for Scotland is Hammy McMillan. Second is Ross Patterson. And the third, Glenn Muirhead. And skip, very experienced, Tom Brewster.
And then the Danish team lead, Oliver Dupont. Second player, Mikael Poulsen. Third player, Johnny Fredriksson. And the skip, Rasmus Stjarne. I think we can expect to see some chopping and changing in this team throughout the week. They operate a kind of rotational five-man system. So here's a look at the teams involved this week. The first two teams on the list there, Austria and Denmark. Newly promoted, Denmark returning to the European Championships, and Austria making one of their first appearances in the big leagues. And a lot of these countries are familiar with seeing at the top level here at the Europeans. And just elsewhere here in session one, on sheet A, Germany against Sweden. Sheet B, Finland against Norway. On sheet C, Austria against Switzerland. And sheet E, Italy against Russia. On sheet D, our featured game, Scotland against Denmark. There's the two skips, Rasmus Stjarne and Tom Brewster, ready to get this underway. Scotland will be playing the red stones and wearing the navy blue. And Denmark wearing the yellow. Sorry, playing the yellow and wearing the white tops. So your Scottish lead, Hammy McMillan, getting the game underway. Of course, the two teams draw the button for Hammer at the end of their practice, and it was Denmark with a better overall score to give them the last stone advantage here in the first end. And looks like Scotland are going into the house in the first end here, Rona.
Yeah, just maybe calm the nerves for the first end, keep it simple till they find their feet and find what the ice is doing.
How would you say that's quite a standard approach, really, in the first round of the competition?
I think in the first round, yes. Although the teams have all had practice on the ice, it may have changed. So just for the first game, just to get them started, get the feel of the ice. You know, Hammy's went back to there. Denmark could have put up a corner guard if they'd wanted, but I think both teams just to feel their way into the competition, just a canny first end.
So this is Hammy McMillan playing his first European Championship. His second international championship at senior level, having played in the World Championship earlier this year. This Team Brewster team finished up 7th at the World Championship. And this is Oliver Dupont, the 26-year-old. I mentioned earlier that this team is likely to do a bit of chopping and changing around the front end. You'll see Johnny Fredriksson and Rasmus Stjarne are playing most of the games, but Trolls Harry on the bench, he'll roll in at some stage. Is there any kind of merit to that approach, that kind of rotation throughout the round robin, Rona?
Yeah, I think, you know, a few teams do that, and I think, you know, these guys obviously all got on really well and are happy with that situation because they've done it a lot. Other teams like just a steady four on the ice, you know, they're all playing consistently, and they're there, so there's no fifth player coming on and off, and a lot of the countries here will only use a fifth player if there's an injury or illness. But yeah, Denmark have done that for a wee while, and they're very, very good at it.
Yeah, and some teams have had a lot of success with it in the past. The likes of Van de Kaap from Germany was infamous for doing that and keeping the players fresh throughout the round robin. So here's a first look at Mikael Poulsen. Becoming quite an experienced player himself now. Was a part of the Ulrik Schmidt team a few years ago, the Danish legend, really. And he never managed to quite get his European title in the end. With, I think he had five finals to his name, and this young Danish team haven't managed to find theirs yet. So Ross Patterson throwing second stones for Scotland, playing his third European Championships. He's never managed to qualify for the playoff stages yet, finishing in 5th position both times.
Yeah, Ross actually played with Father Hammy McMillan, so father of the lead in the Scottish team just now. So Ross has got some good experience behind him, but as you say, never made the qualifying stages yet. So he'll be hoping this week for a few wins to get to that qualifying stage come the end of the week. So both teams here quite happy just to play the hitting game and keep it simple first end.
So here's Glenn Muirhead, the eldest of the children in the Muirhead dynasty in Scotland. Of course, big brother to Eve Muirhead, the women's team skip this week for Scotland, and son of Gordon Muirhead. So Johnny Fredrickson, 41 years old now, and I think he brings quite a lot of qualities to this team, Rona, doesn't he?
He does. He's very experienced, a very calm player under pressure, and really helps Rasmus, you know, just to keep calm and play a sensible game. So he's definitely got the older, more experienced head on his shoulders.
See Glenn Muirhead with that slightly different technique than you'll see all of the players here using this week. It's he's right up on his toe and his weight's really far forward. It's a technique we kind of call the Manitoba tuck. You'll see most of the players going with a more flat foot approach. So you're about to see here from Johnny Fredrickson. You see his Teflon slider in his left foot flat on the surface.
Yeah, so both Glenn and younger brother Thomas have that tuck delivery. Eve doesn't, so it can't be a Muirhead trait.
Yep.
I've actually seen Glenn throwing stones with a flat foot delivery a few times before, and it looks pretty good as well, to be perfectly honest, so you can do it either way.
Yeah, I'm sure he would be effective doing it either way. So Tom just looking to replace this yellow stone and hit this on the nose.
Yeah, so the very experienced 42-year-old Tom Brewster playing his 13th international event for Scotland. Best result at the European Championships, 4th.
Good, Tom. Good. Nice.
Oh, sorry, this is his 4th Europeans, and his best result was a bronze medal in 2013.
Yep, that's when he was part of Team Murdoch, when they were GB team, the Europeans before the Sochi Olympics.
Yeah, interestingly, he's had a lot more success in the world stage than he has at the Europeans. 4 times world medalist.
Yep, he'll be hoping to make amends for that this week.
So Rasmus Stjarne, the 28-year-old, 2009 world junior champion. and playing in his 6th European Championship. His best results were actually his first 2 appearances. He was very much the new kid on the block in Champéry in 2010 and pretty much blew the field away right through to the final and picked up the silver medal. Followed it up with a bronze the next year, but I think just looking at the results at International Championship for this Rasmus Stjerna team, they really had quite a good spell in the kind of in the run-up to the 2014 Olympics in Sochi, but they have fallen off the bandwagon a little bit in recent years, with the real low point being when this Danish side were relegated to the B division. But bouncing straight back up last year with a comprehensive victory in Esbjerg in Denmark.
Yeah, not too bad.
So it's a good shot from Tom. He's hoping to force Denmark to take a 1 here. But Denmark will be trying to take this out and roll out themselves to blank the end. So a good first end from both teams, just playing the percentage shots well, and we have a technical timeout called by Rasmus. So his handle may be loose on the stone, or the lights aren't working, which means... Yep, I think it's the lights. The sensor in the handle's not working, so... They will call down an umpire or one of the icemen to have a look.
Red, green, and then the ice. Yeah, it did it, and then you fixed it, and then it did it again.
So you see them tilting the stone onto its side and trying to get it to activate. It does need to be flipped to 90 degrees for the sensors to start working. That's Chief Ice Technician down there, Mark Callan, just checking the handle. And they're going to send an umpire out to the hog line to do it the old way, by eye, and then I'll have a look at that handle and get it sorted for the next end. So there's Stor Borthwick and Mark Callan on the left-hand side, just keeping a close eye on things. See, the green lights did come on in the handle there, so maybe there wasn't actually a problem, but better safe than sorry with these things. And well executed there by Rasmus Stjerna. Hits and rolls out to preserve the hammer in the first end. And after one end, it's Scotland 0, Denmark 0.
Speed seems, I mean, we've not quite off the set lines yet, but
Felt quite similar to the draw shot. Room! I think we're pretty good. 8 foot. We've got room. Easy, easy. Have a look.
Underway here in the second end.
Here. Have a look. Whoa.
Scotland choosing to go into the rings once more.
Boy, good, Tommy. Came down at the end.
Ronan, would you say that's a quite a standard Tom Brewster approach to go into the top of the forefoot most ends?
Yeah, I still think he's been a wee bit cautious. But, you know, Denmark could put up the corner guard, but because that's stone of Hammies' top 4, it's in a danger place, so Denmark are quite happy to hit it just now.
Well, it doesn't make for great television, but I think the focus definitely for the teams is about getting a win on the board first and foremost.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it'll just take them a couple of ends. You know, when Tom's got last stone, you'll see him certainly putting up the guards and giving him cover. to try and score more than the one. But just now, Hammy's playing what he's been asked for, so good nose hit.
That doesn't, I never come up. We've chatted to him, it didn't seem to.
Tom's probably testing Denmark as well, just to see if Denmark are going to take the game on early doors. So, as I say, it's a long week of many games, so Tom's just breaking and easing his team in gently.
Yeah, both teams do seem quite content to trade takeouts here. Okay, so just another takeout and nothing really building up. Nobody really giving an inch here at the start of the first session. Just going to nip over to sheet A and have a look at how the first end concluded between Germany and Sweden. Here's Niklas Edin, the hot favourite this week. Hot off the back of 2 consecutive Grand Slam victories in Canada. And just choosing to draw one into the rings to score 2 in the first end. And it is a 2, finishes in the rings, and after one end it's Sweden 2, Germany 0.
So back to Ross Patterson. He's been asked to hit this one at the top of the house.
Get in. All right.
So that actually hasn't rolled into the house.
Okay.
But Denmark's still not going to draw around it. They're
Can I catch that?
probably going to hit it.
Rasmus is just out there picking up some of the confetti off the ice. There's the Scottish coach, Mike Harris. The Canadian.
He's full of laughter at the moment anyway in their first game, so he's happy.
You don't often see Mike Harris in a bad mood. Huge amount of experience to bring to the team. And here's his counterpart, Mikael Kvist.
Control! Or normal on the in turn. If I peel it.
Okay, so just a bit of discussion there from the hack, Glenn Muirhead. Just saying that it's maybe better to miss it this way than the other way, and they're going to try and hit and roll into the rings, but if they roll out of play, then that's absolutely fine. But that's exactly how they called it.
Good shot there from Glenn.
Rona, how important is those discussions between the hack and the skip as to how you play these shots and what the tolerance is for them?
Yeah, I think the communication's key, so that the player is playing the correct weight, not what they think. It's what the skip's looking for, because they're icing accordingly for that weight. So, you know, Tom wanted to hit and roll into the house there, so Glenn was aware that that's what he was asked to do.
And throughout the week here, certainly for some of the traditionalists, it's going to seem a bit odd to just see one player out there sweeping. And Oliver Dupont was there on the inside trying to keep that one straight. There's been some kind of development in the last few years as to the kind of the world's general understanding of sweeping and how it works and how to get the most impact on the running course of the stone. And they actually found that sometimes when you've got 2 sweepers out there, you're making it curl more than keeping it straight sometimes. So yeah, it's been a real learning curve for a lot of the teams.
It has, and I think a lot of them are still getting used to that. as to who's to sweep when, but they're definitely becoming more effective with it this year.
And it has created quite a lot of controversy as well with this kind of new understanding and how these synthetic pads can affect the ice and the running path of the stones.
It has, and I think, you know, earlier on this year the World Curling Federation, you know, had to make that ruling because there was so many different brush pads appearing on the scene that were affecting the path of the stone, and sweepers were using them to their advantage, which takes away from the skill of throwing the shot, which is what the game's all about. So I think their new ruling to have, you know, regulated pads for everybody is definitely the best way forward.
Absolutely, and this is the first international championship that these new regulations have come into force, and they're very strict. And if anybody's seen to be breaking them, then could be removed from the game, or even the entire championship. So
Maybe I hear too much. Is that normal?
It's probably normal.
And the players are pleased. You know, they're happy with this ruling because it certainly makes it a fairer game. You know, there's nothing that can affect the stone rather than the power of your sweeping now, rather than the head of the brush you're using to direct the stone. So it's very much in the skill of throwing the shot and using your team sweepers. So yeah, the players definitely seem happier.
So here's Rasmus just laying another control weight takeout down here on the anti-clockwise rotation. Rasmus' father, Tommy, was skip of the Danish team who won the bronze medal in the 1990 World Men's Curling Championship. And they also played in the World Men's just a few years ago as well, beating his son in the qualification process. So I'm sure things were a bit frosty at home that week.
So Tom just wanted to hit this on the nose. Oh, and unfortunately he's just rolled out. So you'll see Denmark just throwing the stone through now to blank the end again. So hopefully after two ends they're both comfortable with the ice now, Logan, and we'll see a few more stones in play at the next end.
That might have done a bit more, eh? Did they really?
Yeah, absolutely. Those ends where there's loads and loads of stones in play and they're all cluttered around the button, around the centre of the house, makes for some fascinating watching. We've not quite got that yet, but hopefully it'll come in the next end.
I think you're probably slightly softer throw than the second end.
So the second end blanked as well. Denmark retain the last one advantage for the third, and after two ends it is Scotland 0, Denmark 0.
Just a few short years ago, Las Vegas first emerged on the world's curling radar. Today, it's the world's curling hotbed, with 2 Continental Cups already in the attendance record books, a third one ready to rock this coming January, and the biggest one of all, the World Men's Championship, coming in 2018. For complete details, visit LasVegasCurling.rocks.
You gotta be there. Las Vegas rocks.
Five sheets in play here in session one. And we're in the third end, Scotland against Denmark.
Don't be half-half.
No, we're in.
If you've just joined us, you're watching live coverage of the 2016 Gruyère European Curling Championships from Braehead Arena in Renfrewshire in Scotland. And I'm Logan Gray, and alongside me, 2002 Olympic gold medalist Rona Howie.
Yeah, we've just seen the start of the third end here. Tom had asked Hammy for a short guard, but unfortunately it's just slipped into the house. So Tom was starting to take the game on, but unfortunately with it slipping in, Denmark will just now hit. So you'll probably see Tom just continuing to hit.
Yeah, I think we've got some more discussion about the
We've
the
got
handles
another
here.
technical timeout.
He's been at that one as well. Yeah.
So obviously again, Hammy's
know.
not happy with the
He's not put
light
it off
situation
properly,
on the handle. When he's turned the stone over, the light should flash. Just waiting for
Ross,
the technical.
can she not just watch the hog line? Just throw it.
His handle's loose.
Loose. Can you
Oh,
not
it's
just
a
turn
loose
it?
handle, it's not the lights flashing this time.
Say his handle, it's loose.
Loose. It's needing
Yeah,
tightened
he's
up
tightened
or
it.
something that's loose.
Right, tighten it up, would you please?
And people will say, you know, oh, well, why can't he throw another stone? There's another 6 red stones there. But the players always have matched these stones previously to the game, so Hammy will have his 2 stones that he's to throw. So he would rather throw his own than throw somebody else's, because that would put the numbers out of sync for the rest of the team for that end. So.
Yeah, absolutely, and it is part of the skill of the game. Really, is getting your all 8 of your stones down there in the position you want them, not just 7 of them and throwing them twice. So seem to get it sorted out. The chief ice technician Mark Callan comes in, tightens it up, and this one's over curl and it's going to hit and roll out of play. So I think we can probably expect to see a corner guard here.
No, we knew that though. 'Cause he's
Yes, that's what he's asked for. Game on.
Well, you say that, Rona, but there is a rule in curling called the free guard zone, and basically that prevents stones outside of the painted area from being removed from play during the lead stones. But after this stone here from Oliver Dupont, the free guard zone rule is going to be over, and I think we would expect to see Scotland peeling the guard anyway. So I think they're aware of that, and they've just chosen to go into the house.
Well, the good thing about this, Logan, is they'll have plenty of time in their time clocks for the last few ends.
It's about the only good thing about it, Rona.
So Ross Patterson, who is from Glasgow, so he's on his home turf. He's just asked for a nose hit.
Yeah, absolutely. Ross does a lot of training in the curling club here at Braehead, where the European B Championships are taking place this week.
Yep, so the A, this is the A division in the arena, and the B division up in the ice rink. And yeah, it's very important for teams this week to finish in the right ranking place, to qualify for Worlds so that they can get Olympic points for the country, but also to stay in the A group for next year. So the B group are fighting next door, so that the teams from there, the winners, can challenge the ones who unfortunately finish lower down in the A group.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's one of the real positives of the European Championship in comparison to the World Championship, in that there is something for everybody to play for right until the very last stone's thrown in the week.
Absolutely.
And it is quite an aggressive kind of promotion and relegation system, where 2 teams at the bottom of the rankings go down automatically, and then actually the 8th place team out of 10, they'll be challenged by the 3rd place team in the B group as well to get a place at next year's championship. So it's not just all about the medals this week. And then, of course, as you mentioned, the other aspect is qualification for the World Championship and securing that for your country and giving your country the opportunity to get those all-important Olympic qualifying points as we close in on the 2018 Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang in South Korea.
Yeah, because the Worlds next year in 2017, that's the last opportunity to gain any Olympic points. So all countries will be wanting that place at the Worlds to make sure they are gaining Olympic points. But also as well, there will be 2 places up for grabs, and there will be a playoff for any country who has participated in the Worlds that hasn't made the Olympics on points.
Well, absolutely. So you do have that security in knowing that you are going to have an opportunity to qualify, and even if you don't get in there by default. Meanwhile, over on sheet A, we saw Nicolas Edin with a cool draw for 2 in the first end. And here's Alexander Baumann throwing the last stones for Germany. And looks like he's facing a few yellow stones. Down with the brushes here, Herberg and Walter. And look at this, Oscar Eriksson on the tee line. Just ushers that one through the 8-foot circle, and look at that, it's a steal of 3 in the second end for Sweden. And the reigning champions off to a flyer here, Sweden 5, Germany 0.
So get there.
Yep, a great start for Sweden. Meanwhile, back to our featured game. We still don't have a score yet.
No, and we've not seen 2 stones in play at any time yet either, so that's well, it's not really a problem as such, it's just not very exciting, but looks like another nice hit and roll there for Johnny Fredriksson. And Rona, that stone was outside of the house, but surely they could have thrown a draw around that one, couldn't they?
They could have, but at this stage in the end, if he goes round and doesn't bury behind the guard and leaves a hit and roll for Scotland, then, you know, he could be forced to take his one at this end, which he doesn't want to do. Denmark want to score multiple when they've got the hammer, so he doesn't want to take any chances now. I think we'll see at the next end, though, that both teams are now probably getting, not frustrated, but, you know, they've played this simple game, so, right, it's time to start putting a bit more pressure on your opposition. So Rasmus will just want to hit and roll out. Oh no, this is his first stone. He'll want to hit and roll in here and leave Tom a nose hit with his last stone. So yeah, I don't think anybody's going to take chances at this stage in the end.
So 3 stones to come here in the third end. Well, actually, looks like they're not going for a hit and stick here. They're just peeling it to avoid the possibility of leaving a stone outside of the rings that Tom Brewster would be then able to come around and force Denmark to score one here in the third. So meanwhile, over on sheet C, Austria and Switzerland. And Austria scoring one in the first end. Switzerland will be big favourites here in this first round. But Benoit Schwarz coolly drawing the 4-foot against 3 Austrian counters. Pressure draw there, and after 2 ends, all tied. Austria 1, Switzerland 1.
So back to Tom's draw. He's just putting it in the house. So it just hangs on in there. So he's just hoping that Rasmus might nose it and force him to take one, whereas Rasmus will be wanting to hit and roll out to blank the end. As you can see, Johnny Fredrickson's holding the brush for his skip, and that's where the skip will aim. And they've decided that's how much ice they need, depending on the weight he's going to throw.
So a familiar sight here. Rasmus Jarnett just going to peel this one out. Still no score. And after 3 ends, I think even the players are starting to get a little bit bored. I think we'll start to see some action in the 4th end. And after 3 ends, it's Scotland 0, Denmark 0. Well, not much to report so far in session 1, not as far as our featured game is concerned anyway. 0-0 after 3 ends. Denmark quite content to keep control of the game and have that last stone advantage with them, despite not putting any score on the board. Rona, is there any merit to blanking all these ends so far? Why are they not just drawing for 1 end?
Yeah, Denmark are wanting to score more than 1. They want to score at minimum 2 when they've got a hammer, which was last stone. Tom's trying to force them there to nose one of these hits to take a 1. So, but start of the 4th end, Logan, and we have a centre guard. Hammy's put up a centre guard there. So Denmark are drawing round.
Yeah, we see the hog-to-hog split timer on the bottom of the screen there, just under 14 seconds. And that gives us an indication of the speed of the ice and something we'll be able to gauge against as the game goes on, to see if the ice conditions do change. 14 seconds going past the tee line, that would indicate really quite quick ice conditions out there.
It's quite long, like, but it's up to
So
you.
Hammy's centre guard was a wee bit longer than they were hoping for, so it meant when Denmark drew round it, the stone's actually drawn out the other side of the guard. So Hammy can see it on the other hand now, so he'll just try and hit this and roll behind the guard.
Yep. Hard. Gotta go. Holy shit. You sure he's not got a car?
So that certainly drew more than they were expecting, Logan.
Well, there didn't seem to be any panic at all in the first half of the sheet, and just took off on them. So you heard Tom Brister just saying there that maybe Hammy's got a cutter. What is that, Rona?
So that just means when they've matched the stones prior to the game, they may notice 1 or 2 of their stones cut a wee bit more, so they're swinging more. So that's just for them to be aware of, and they may need to take a bit more ice when using that stone. But it didn't sound as though they thought Hammy's was a cutter. So whether it maybe just caught something on the ice, because it definitely, they weren't panicking halfway down and then it suddenly cut a long way, so. But Denmark could have come round there again and put the pressure on, but they've come up short with that draw. So it gives Ross the opportunity now to hit this one.
Any other options here, Rona?
Yeah, I mean, that stone they're hitting is back tee, so it's behind the tee line, so they could draw around the guards and put a bit of pressure on Denmark. If they draw round and lie short, then it's Denmark that have got the harder shot to play.
That's okay.
Well, just
Picked, eh?
sticks around.
Oh no, it
And
definitely did. It had something under it.
to be honest, probably better out there in the wing than rolling in behind the guards and in behind
No way.
the tee line as well.
Saying hi to people.
But with the last stone advantage, Denmark willing to take a little bit more risk than the Scots.
Yeah, that red's just half in the rings, so Denmark can get much closer to the button now by drawing round. There's a nice finish on the ice, so there's a good draw at the end to bury behind the guards. It's just getting the weight right here.
Oh, another one coming into the house a little bit hot, and Tom Brewster actually going to get this one all the way through the house. Great sweeping by the Scottish skip. And Scotland still lying one on the wing.
Yep, so advantage quickly turns now to Scotland to get round their top tee behind the cover.
That was a big miss. We saw a miss with the previous stone as well, with them coming up short of the rings and presenting the opportunity to Scotland to make the takeout. And here's another one. And Mikael Poulsen, I don't think he can quite believe he made a misjudgment that big.
That's a big difference in 2 stones. So that's what happens. They've been hitting for 3 ends, Logan. They haven't been practicing their draw weight. This one's also looking a wee bit.
Tell me that sat down quick, yeah?
It's a good weight.
Yeah, if anything, just maybe a half stone or a stone further left than they would like it. That red still will be accessible from the hack for Mikael Poulsen here. Probably about half of it being seen from the hack. Just makes that takeout a little bit more straightforward.
So he's playing just a nice tap back weight on this.
Gets right to the nose. Great shot. Wasn't easy to navigate that back one as well, run-up.
I know, he had to be perfect there just to miss that back yellow. He certainly didn't want to jam it on there and have 2 Scotland hangers on the rings. So Tom just needs to get Glenn to follow that shot.
Of course, Glenn Muirhead's renowned for having the big weight ability. Always interesting just to see where his touch game's at with these kind of soft weight takeouts.
Hard!
Yep.
Feel hard! Gotta go, go.
Working it hard. Oh, and just caught the top guard. So he was a wee bit less weight than the Danish stone previously. So it did curl a bit more. So advantage turns now to Denmark when they've got last stone here. They want to try and make their 2, so they're looking at the best option of where to put this second counter. So it doesn't leave Scotland an easy double takeout.
What are the options they're looking at the moment?
Well, they're looking at drawing round that corner guard, which that's what they're going to go for. They're going to draw around the corner to keep the 2 yellow stones of Denmark spread apart, and then it means Tom wouldn't be able to take a double. But Denmark have struggled a wee bit with their draw weight at this end so far, so this is key for them to get that second counter in. So now, because it's got a bit of running, they're trying to bring it to rest on that back Scottish stone. So it wasn't plan A for Denmark, but it's worked out okay for them. So Rasmus seems fairly happy with that. So Scotland will try and hit this one and roll over to the right towards that other Danish counter. So Glenn playing a nice controlled weight again here.
Needs to be.
Okay.
Just hit it on the nose. We're looking for the inside roll, but it now gives Denmark the option to either hit and roll behind the guard or hit and roll out to the other wing to put more separation between his yellow stones.
It was an extremely good draw with Johnny Fredrickson's first stone to set up this opportunity. It's amazing how quickly an end can turn around from a position where Scotland looked like they had the upper hand. But Denmark start to string a few perfect shots together, and all of a sudden they're looking great for a multiple score here.
Yep.
Nicely done. Well, just while Tom Brewster and Glenn Muirhead work this one out, we're going to have a look on sheet C at Austria and Switzerland. We saw a lovely draw by Benoit Schwarz in the previous end against 3 Austrian counters, and it's Sebastian Wunderer's turn to try and carry out the same feat. Tough draw, not much real estate to work with here. Oh, and he's judged it absolutely perfectly, unswept right to the button.
Great shot from Austria.
And yeah, the Austrian boys making a nice confidence-building start here against Switzerland. First time in a long time in the European A event for Austria, and they're leading Switzerland by 2 shots to 1.
Oh, and the Scottish crowd here have woken up. Tom Brewster's played a lovely shot there, a nice hit and roll behind the centre guard now. So Denmark will come down and just try and tap this back. They can't see enough of the stone to play a hit weight at it, so they'll come down just to play a tap back.
Well, we said earlier in the end that centre guard is quite long, so shouldn't be too much of a concern for Rasmus.
So the sweeper's just advising Johnny in the head what weight it is.
Now just look at that one sweeper approach that we'll see a lot of the teams using this week. Makes it curl enough and sticks around.
That's a great shot. So now they lie 2. So he's got last stone here, so Tom needs to decide when he's lying 2 against and they're both back tee. Tom could draw behind the guard and sit on top of the yellow. He could draw behind the centre guard. So there's a few options here for Scotland.
If that was a red, I'd be more comfortable.
Well, if I know Tom Brewster, he loves to explore all these options and think about going for the kind of high reward shot of the draw, but then inevitably he always goes for the takeout and plays it safe. So that's
yeah, I mean, he could hit the open yellow on the wing there, and that's basically saying, right, I'm losing a 2. But if he plays the perfect draw around, he could actually steal a 1 or force a 1.
Don't want to bump it, we want to freeze it.
See, this is where it goes back to that first centre guard. It's just a wee bit long, so he knows if he draws round that, Rasmus can still get round the guard, as we've just seen with his last stone, to tap it back.
Yeah, it does show the importance of the lead stones, and he is going for the draw. So a brave call here from Tom Brewster. I've got to admit that I think I would play the takeout in the wing here, not risk giving up the 3.
Coaching staff looking sweet on the bench at the moment.
Same weight's good.
On this line, yeah, very similar.
Same weight.
So this is Tom's first draw of the match, isn't it? He's been hitting all along, so...
Yeah, it's a high pressure one as well.
What his concern was here, Logan, coming round the corner, because the corner's a shorter guard, it's closer to the house, so it's tighter to come round. The sweepers seem quite happy.
I think it does look good.
It does. He's got backing. Great shot. So that really takes the opportunity away for Denmark to score 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Rasmus is lining it up, but I can't really see it myself. I think he's going to be forced to draw for 1.
Yep, I think that's going to be the safest shot. It's really, you know, it's perfectly buried there. There's not really much gap between the red and yellow for him to nick it out. How's your Danish? Can you understand what he's saying?
Oh, I think he's just trying to work out if he can chip that red off the top and get a 2, but for me it's not happening. There's no way you can chip that red off the top and keep the running stone around in the house to get a multiple score.
Yeah, so he would probably end up scoring 1 if he did play it absolutely perfectly, so why not just draw for 1?
He does like to try the hard shots though, Rasmus. He's not one to shy away from a challenge.
Okay, well, he's going for it. I don't think from the hack he's going to be able to see much of that stone.
No, I can't work this one out. I mean, the only option could be that you play it with a little bit of weight and try and catch the yellow on the back red, but tough shot, and he's just playing at a controlled takeout weight. Can he squeeze this red far enough to get a score of 2? Oh, he has, you know.
Oh.
Super shot.
What a shot.
Well, see, he did manage to catch the yellow on the other back stone that was there, and that's what gave them the score of 2 in the end. Well worked out by the Danes. He full does, but
it did indeed, because Tom played a great freeze in there, but just left that inch between the stones.
So after 4 ends, it's Denmark 2, Scotland 0.
Just a few short years ago, Las Vegas first emerged on the world's curling radar. Today, it's the world's curling hotbed, with 2 Continental Cups already in the attendance record books, a 3rd one ready to rock this coming January, and the biggest one of all, the World Men's Championship, coming in 2018. For complete details, visit LasVegasCurling.rocks.
You gotta be there. Las Vegas rocks.
Well, a real highlight of the game so far from Rasmus Stjerne. There's not been many, but it did come in the 4th end there, the first score of the game, and a super delicate takeout to get 2 on the board. And Denmark starting this 5th end by drawing into the house.
Yep, it just slipped back to you a wee bit, so it gives Scotland the opportunity to put up a corner guard.
Looks big. 2.5. Go.
And I think we'll see Scotland open the hips up here a little bit and take a bit more risk to try and get back into this game.
Yeah, a couple of corner guards is all they need just to get a 2 back. They don't need to do anything too clever. It's the 5th end, they're just 2 down. So Denmark will try and put this one in the house as well. or just short. They don't want to be too short because their first stone is back tee, so it would give Scotland something to freeze on. So they want to just bring this in. That's a good shot there from Denmark. So Tom's now asking Hammy to draw to that back yellow stone and freeze that.
It's okay.
Wait, line only.
Line only. 8 foot.
Whoa, wait only.
Top tee.
Room.
So an out-turn draw here from Hammy.
Okay.
Sweepers seem quite happy with the weight. It's all about the line.
Gotta go. Whoa, line only. Whoa.
Good shot, Hammy.
A lovely draw here from
Lovely shot.
Hammy. Makes the freeze similar to Tom Brewster's stone in the fourth end, but set up this position here for Rasmus Stjernit. Felt that the risk was worth it at this stage of the game, and it really paid off. Actually almost got three, just squeezes that red stone far enough to bring the stone on the other side of the house into play. And a score of 2, the first score of the game.
Yep, so after Hammy's good draw there, Denmark wanted to peel off the guard, so they didn't get caught into too much trouble here. They're looking to force Scotland to take their one, whereas Scotland's trying to score 2 here with the last stone. So Ross just being asked to replace that.
2.5. Weight's good. Room.
So an out-turn guard from Ross required here.
Hammy only.
Hammy only.
On Hammy. Don't stop. We're good for weight. Whoa, whoa.
So happy with the weight.
Good, Ross, go.
Yeah, so Scotland just trying to keep Denmark out of the house and away from the shot stone at the moment. But meanwhile, over on sheet A, we saw a woeful draw in the second end by Alex Baumann, giving up a steal of 3 against the 2014 and 2015 European champions, Niklas Edin of Sweden. And here he is trying to get a score on the board for Germany. Needs to find the forefoot against a bundle of yellow granite again. And that one will rear up in time. And Germany on the board here in session 1. Sweden 5, Germany 1.
So back to our featured game, and Denmark have cleared off the guard again. Let's say they don't want to get into too much trouble and lose a big end when they don't have last stone.
We can be short.
We bounce. No, we're there.
No, cannot bounce.
We're front ring. Top 8.
Stay with it for line, Glenn.
So Tom's bringing another one in.
Bounce in the
Whoa.
hair. Bounce in the
Whoa,
hair.
whoa, whoa, whoa. It's okay, the angle's okay.
So bouncing a hair, that's exactly what it did. So that's a really good shot from Ross. Because it's half checking the Danish stone, so if Denmark hit this, then they could take out their own yellow as well, if they hit it wrong.
Come on. Whoa. 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 Yep. Whoa. Step. Yep. Step. Whoa. 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 Whoa.
Clean picks it off the top of the yellow stone. So 3 stones in the house at the moment, but Scotland in their closest and lying in shot position.
What was I throwing in practice yesterday?
Yeah, Tom's obviously aware, Logan, that, you know, Denmark could use that yellow that's there to raise up onto the red Scottish stone. So he wants us to come right in and freeze on top of the yellow. Just corner freeze it, or just stop slightly shorter. He doesn't want to put too long a guard on, so that Denmark could come round and use their yellow.
Just wait. Line's good.
Oh,
Tons of room.
8 foot.
Whoa. It's got to be a 3 at the moment.
No.
Nothing. Cannot bounce.
Freeze.
Cannot bounce.
You hear Tom saying it cannot bounce. He doesn't want it to spring off the yellow stone. just to sit on the corner of
Watch
it.
there, Glenn.
That's a very nice shot from Glenn there.
Still starting travelling, isn't it? A bit now.
Die Weg zu Löber! Ja.
So I think Rasmus is going to try and clear both of the stones, which I was a little bit surprised he didn't try and do with the first one, just to open up that shot stone. Meanwhile, over on sheet B, Norway leading Finland by 7 shots to 0 after 3 ends. Steal of 5 in the third end for the Norwegians. And then here in the fourth, Aku Kaustet trying to get another one in there to close what would look like an insurmountable deficit, but does eat into that lead a little bit and gets 2 on the board, and after 4 ends it's Norway 7, Finland 2.
And Norway have brought their fancy pants to Scotland,
The top was maybe better, eh?
so they must be bringing them luck at the moment if they've got off to that good a start in their first game. So back to Scotland, and Denmark just peeled off the shot that Glenn played to freeze the top one.
Right,
So
some
they've just
more.
looked to replace that.
Here less. Needs to be less. Room on this one.
8 foot. No. Same weight.
No.
They almost freeze it out if you want.
What they need to be careful here, Logan, is that Glenn doesn't come too far in to set up a double for Denmark.
No bounce.
So that's why they're using this front stone just to corner
Whoa,
freeze.
whoa, 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 whoa. It's over, good.
Well, if Denmark can see the shot stone, they might be interested in just peeling it out, and if they could clean pick it off that yellow stone at the back of the forefoot, they would be lying too, and Scotland would be in, or their opportunity would really be lost here.
Yeah, Tom was trying to protect his one shot so that he could build up for a 2 at this end, but that one of Glenn's just over curled. But the thing is, for Denmark to try and hit this, they can't see much of that red stone that's lying short, and if they do play slightly tight, they could catch the top one and take their own yellow out, and that's what Tom would certainly be hoping for, that error. But Rasmus is obviously happy he can see enough of this.
Yeah, so not much room for error here for Rasmus Stjerne. Throwing the high, hard one. Trying to get that red stone out of the forefoot circle.
They're on it all the way. And they did just exactly what Tom was hoping would happen.
Well, they've been extremely fortunate there, actually, that redstone squeezing across the top of the yellow. And we saw in the previous end just how lively and springy the stones are with Rasmus's final stone of the fourth. And we saw it again there. Here's another look. Just watch, the redstone goes onto the yellow but actually squeezes out of the house, and just the 2 stones remain in the forefoot there.
Yep, so Tom's now got the decision where to put his second counter just now. He doesn't want to put them close together to leave Rasmus the opportunity of a double.
You go there. Yeah. What is he doing?
So Tom's looking at the option of taking, just nose hitting his red and tapping the yellow out just now, but that would leave a double.
Leave a nose hit. Okay, you go wing, Tom, right? Yeah.
So they're deciding whether to put it out in the other wing.
So if you go, you almost need to be.
What do you think, Logan, here? What would you like to see him do with this counter?
Well, if you're
Well, they're looking at drawing to the wing, and they would be lying first and third shot, which would seem like a little bit of a risk, but it's actually quite a difficult position for Denmark, because if they do, because they don't really have an opportunity to make a play on the shot stone to lie too, or it would be a very difficult shot to do that. So they would really be forced to just really remove one, and you would think there would be a straightforward shot to score 2. So they're looking at playing something in front of the red stone, which Again, just having seen those last couple of stones from Rasmus, how springy the stones are, it makes those double takeouts all the more possible. So they need to get their stone positioning absolutely spot on here.
Oh,
looks like they've changed their mind. I think this is the best call.
Yeah, I think so. It just keeps the red stones apart, and you know Rasmus likes these big doubles, so
easy, boys. Easy, easy.
You know, if he puts this out in the wing, Rasmus has to make the call. Do I hit the open one, or do I play on the shot?
Cross only, whoa. Through the brush, exactly. Got a cuddle. No. Needs to move, guys.
So they just don't want to leave this.
Needs to move. Right up.
That would leave a double on the reds.
That has just travelled a foot too far, really. So that's just created the opportunity for Denmark that if they do hit that red stone on the left-hand side of the stone where Johnny Fredriksson is indicating there, and it gives them slightly angle to have enough speed to roll over and remove the other red out the side door.
Yep, but certainly asking the question of Rasmus.
So we're looking for about 2/3 of a stone contact on that first one next to the brush. And then see what happens.
Oh, we're sweeping it all the way. Oh, great shot. So advantage taken away from Scotland there from getting their two back. Just unfortunate Tom's draw. Went a foot too far there. If they'd finished level, then that shot wouldn't have been possible. So Tom now will want to try and blank this end. You can see there Rasmus just hit that perfectly to lift the double. So Tom will want to blank this end and take no score so that he can keep last stone advantage for the try and get a multiple score at the next end.
Well, important that they really focus and make this stone. They don't want to be forced to take one. Hits it square on the beak. And a disappointing conclusion to the fifth end for the home side. Just a one on the board and an end that looked sure to reap more fruit.
Yeah, Scotland played a good end there. You know, they were lying one and were looking good for their two the whole time.
So after 5 ends, it's Denmark 2, Scotland 1. Session 1 here, Scotland against Denmark. Here's Tom Brewster with his final stone here in the fourth end. Doesn't have the last stone, facing 2 yellow Danish counters and going for a brave freeze around the corner guard, and he absolutely nailed it. Gets right down onto the face and looks sure to force Denmark to only score 1. But you never are quite safe when Rasmus Stjerne is around. Here's his final stone of the fourth end. And he plays an absolute pistol. Squeezes the red out the side door. And far enough to bring the other yellow into play. 2 on the board for Denmark. And after 4 ends, it was Denmark 2, Scotland 0. And then here in the fifth end, here's Rasmus with his final stone here in the fifth. And look at that, another terrific takeout from Rasmus. And Scotland missing the peel And after 5 ends, it's Denmark 2, Scotland 1. So Switzerland and Austria here in the 4th. They've just been trading singles in the first 3 ends. Here's Benoit with his final stone here in the 4th. And Valentin Tanner looks like he's trying to make it curl. See, just a single sweeper trying to make it curl. He's facing a few there, but gets the job done. And it's a score of 1 again there in the 4th end. And it's 2 apiece. And just to bring you up to speed on what's happening elsewhere. Sweden 5, Germany 1, Norway 7, Finland 2. Tied game on sheet C as we saw there, and in sheet E, Russia 4, Italy 1.
Yeah.
1 minute. We're doing double guard in here then?
Yeah. I think you got to throw a double side, right?
Go hard. Oh.
That was awkward.
Stuck to know what in these 5 minutes in the light.
That's it. All right, boys. Keep it going.
Har du tror du det? Hvad? Har jeg haft min herudefra? Det er din.
Hvad mangler du? Vi stegte den lærlige her, Ben.
Well, there's a look at the percentages. See Denmark just a little bit sharper this morning. 94% plays, 84 overall. And Denmark near perfect on the takeouts. We saw a lot of takeouts thrown in the first 3 ends, pretty much just traded hits.
That's mine.
But it really just has been a couple of big shots from Rasmus Stjerne at the right times that has made the difference so far. Just a 1-shot game here. And that great shot for 2 in the 4th end, opening the game up, and another terrific double takeout by Rasmus in the 5th end to get the force. And if you've just joined us, you're watching live coverage from the Gruyère European Curling Championships 2016 at the Braehead Arena in Renfrewshire, Scotland. A featured game here in session 1. Scotland to Denmark. Denmark leading Scotland by 2 shots to 1 at the halfway stage. My name's Logan Gray, alongside me, 2002 Olympic gold medalist Rona Howie, giving us some insight as to what's going through the players' minds out there. So just coming around the centre guard here, Oliver Dupont. And just drifts past the tee line. And looks like we might get some stones in play here. Something that was severely lacking in the first 2 ends. Hammy McMillan only playing 70% so far. We've seen a few of the stones drifting a little bit too far. Generally, you would hope that your leads are over the course of the week anyway we'll be playing around the 90% mark. So some work to do.
We're top 4. Over curling. I think number 2 moves, by the way. Hey? Okay. Thank you. Yeah. 2 different.
So still talking about that number 2 stone, and they're saying that it potentially does curl, and it really seemed to come down hard there. So a takeout earlier in the game where it overswung and missed the takeout altogether. So these are the kind of things that a skip will need to keep in mind as the game goes on, being able to reflect on these moments and add it all up to make the right decisions. They always say that the skip has to have a good memory.
Hard! Vi er forbi! Hard! Vi er forbi! Hard!
You want to go on top? Yeah. Yeah.
Well, hits and rolls
Yeah.
inside.
Absolutely. Even if I'm in front of overthrown,
It's really the same position that Hammy McMillan faced with his second stone. Ross Patterson having a good game, 88%.
Very close, Tom. Whoa. Just
Pretty
wait.
close.
Just wait.
Just trying to make the
Just
freeze
wait.
here in this stone at the back of the tee line. Generally, you're looking for your stones
Here it comes.
on the other side of the tee line to prevent the opposition from being able to rest against it and lie in shot position,
No bounce.
like
No bounce.
this one.
Yep.
Perfectly played.
Perfect. Shot, Ross, go.
Nice conditions are looking good here in the Braehead Arena. See the stones running on quite nicely and running straight for a long time and then really curling hard at the end. So it's exactly what the players are looking for, to be able to play this aggressive curling. Well, look at all the stones in play over there on sheet C, Austria and Switzerland once again. And here's Seb with his final stone of the fifth end. And trying a bit of a trick shot. Trying to make some sort of a raise on those front stones, and doesn't change anything in the house. And now the third players will have a good look at who's lying in second shot. Looks like one yellow at least. And we'll give you confirmation later on as to what the outcome was there. Just the one. And after 5 ends, half-time, Switzerland 3, Austria 2.
Room. Just wait. I kind of want to go for weight. Well, it's Glenn only.
Well, back in our featured game, Denmark just a little bit heavy with the freeze attempt and released that back yellow.
Okay.
Ross Patterson trying to make the freeze, and again, just a little bit too heavy and doesn't curl enough. Nice to see some stones in play though, Rona.
Definitely, yes. It's not a bad result there from Ross, because it gives Denmark something to think about now. They can't really hit that top red stone. So he's going to peel the guard. Because Denmark have got last stone here. They're one up in the game, so they don't need to be too clever. You know, if they score their one just at this end, then they would be okay with that. So they're just trying to keep it simple and not let Scotland get into a guddle behind the guard.
Pretty even matchup at second between Poulsen and Patterson. 88 plays 89%. And that was a 100% shot there. Makes the peel.
So now Tom's looking at, does he replace the guard?
What are we guarding, Tom? Just centre. Centre.
So they'll just ask Glenn to replace the guard here on the centre line. Having a great game at 90% so far.
Three. Just clean. Tight. Real tight. It's never needing a touch. Keep it out. That's the only thing. 3. No. Line. No. Good.
Well, they're not sweeping at
life.
the moment for weight, because they're happy with the weight, but just the line there, it curled a bit at the end, but that's pretty good result from Glenn.
Yeah, it was just a kind of like-for-like replacement there.
So now Denmark, see, he wants to peel this, but he doesn't want to run it into the house at all.
If you may have just seen a piece of confetti falling down onto the ice. If you're wondering what that was falling from the skies here, there's some confetti in the roofs from all the other events that take place here. We think that there's a darts competition on here last week. There may have been some confetti involved, so I'm sure that'll pass as the first couple of days go by.
Hopefully. Yeah, so you saw Johnny Fredrickson there. He's having a very good game, playing 100% so far. So he just peeled that guard of Glenn's. Thankfully missed the piece of confetti falling from the air.
Line's okay, wee bit high just now, whoa!
Well,
Only
guys.
half.
Good.
It's got to be top button.
Line's real nice.
No
Go
more
for
than
weight.
top button.
Whoa. Go for weight.
Got a lot of room.
Freeze.
Yep, one hand.
That's a change of approach here for Scotland, trying to make the freeze
Yes!
on the Yellowstone in the button.
Hard! Whoa.
Perfect.
Ah, beautiful shot there, Glenn.
Yeah, just squared it up off that top red, and that one's going absolutely nowhere. It's in jail. Well, over on sheet A, here's Niklas Edin. 5-1 leaders over Germany. And looks like it's just a draw for 2. Rasmus Vranua and Christopher Sundgren on the rushes. And down into the forefoot. Bread and butter for Niklas Edin, and he opens up that 6-shot lead. And after 5 ends, it's Sweden 7, Germany 1.
So we've just seen here Johnny Fredrickson playing a great double. It was all he really could do after Glenn's good freeze.
I think we have to.
I mean, the thing is, he can squeeze out a free hand.
So now, you know, Denmark have got 2 counters in the house, so Tom needs to be careful that he doesn't
It needs to keep it out the rings, or that brings there, shoot it.
allow Denmark to score more than one here.
Because he's got that tap.
Well, wait,
Just 2.5. Okay.
But the red's pretty well in there
Is this
on the
12
yellow,
quick,
Logan. It's
No, it has to be out of the rings.
likely to move the yellow if Denmark tried to touch the red at all. So Tom just going for a guard here.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think they'll be erring on the left-hand side of the red as they look at it. If Denmark could see the right-hand side, then they'd just be hitting it onto their own yellow, so they won't be able to remove it. So they'll be fully aware of that. Tom Brewster, 90%. Only really that miss with his final stone in the 5th end.
Whoa. 3. Close now. Clean. Yep. Ross. Whoa, guys. Whoa.
So they seem quite happy with the weight here.
Right off.
Great line, that's a great shot from Tom.
That's perfect.
As you hear there, Glenn saying that's perfect. He's happy with his skips shot.
Well, they wanted to leave themselves an opportunity to play a raise, so that's why they wanted to get the stones up there so close to the house, because Denmark are lying in shot position, so that yellow stone in the button will need to be moved at some point, and Scotland certainly don't want to fall further behind here.
Det er unaturligt. Og pilen rent også, der sidder dernede. Så han er nødt til at gå ned og trykke det, hvis han er skåret ned, så får vi.
Ja, og så får den bomben bag.
So Denmark, because they've got last stone here, they'll just try and peel this guard off that Tom's just played.
I think Scotland could anticipate this would happen. Rasmus Stjerna, 100% for the game so far. Perfect game for both of the back-end players from Denmark.
Yep, 200%. You can't get much better than that. So now with Tom's last stone, does he tap the red onto the yellow to lie short? Or does he put up a guard and say, you know, I'm happy to lose my 1 here. There's no way you're going to draw for 2.
It's got to be out the rings. Same spot.
It's got to be out the rings.
Same spot.
Or it's a nose double.
Well, it certainly looks like that's the case. going to go for the guard here and say to Denmark, we're quite happy for you to score 1. But you're not going to get any more than that.
Yep, so you heard them saying there they want it out the house, because obviously if it's in the house and closer to the shots, then Rasmus could use it. But it looks as though it's coming on in.
Big mistake there. Too heavy, drifts down into the house and leaves another double takeout for Rasmus Stjerne. If Rasmus could ever hit right in between those 2 red stones, then there could be a score of 2, maybe even 3 on the cards here.
Yeah, and that's where we needed to be careful, really, for Scotland's point of view, because if Tom had put it short there, it would have been very difficult for Rasmus to make a 2. So just by coming right in, it's actually given Rasmus an easier shot to play now.
Well, it's a big error, really, when you consider that would have gone to the tee line. You heard Glenn communicating with the sweepers that it had to be short of the house. So they're good, a good 6 feet out for distance there, really.
So can Rasmus keep his 100% record?
Has he got it? Oh, he certainly has. Great shot from Denmark, and Rasmus Stjerne really announcing himself with numerous bangs and these big takeouts that he's throwing. What a return he's making to the A Championship. Score 3 for Denmark, and after 6 ends, it's Denmark 5, Scotland 1.
Just a few short years ago, Las Vegas first emerged on the world's curling radar. Today, it's the world's curling hotbed, with 2 Continental Cups already in the attendance record books, a 3rd one ready to rock this coming January, and the biggest one of all, the World Men's Championship, coming in 2018. For complete details, visit LasVegasCurling.rocks.
You gotta be there. Las Vegas rocks.
Well, Denmark starting to turn the screw on Scotland, putting 3 on the board in the 6th end. A real gift from Tom Brewster with his final stone, sets up the opportunity for Rasmus to make the double takeout once again, and no problem. After 6 ends, Denmark leading Scotland by 5-1, and Scotland with it all to do. And Rona, what's the general approach now for Scotland for this 4 shot?
Yep, they're 4 shots down, but they've got 4 ends to go, so they've got last stone advantage here. So let's use it, and they'll want to put some corner guards up. I think you'll see Hammy putting 2 corners up, 1 on either side, so that they can try and get something going and put a bit of pressure onto Denmark. But Denmark, their tails are up now. They've got 4 shots of a lead, so and with the back end both playing 100% each, you know, the Scotland are going to have to get some more stones in play behind cover.
Yeah, on the other hand, Denmark are going to be quite defensive, and they don't really want to see any guards out front of the house.
No, absolutely. They want all their stones now in the house. As you can see, Tom's asking for his 2nd corner guard from Hammy.
Let's go.
Line's good. I'll go here. I'll do.
So yep, there's two good corner guards from Hammy.
Good, fine, Hammy.
So he's done his part in setting up the end. But you'll now see Denmark just trying to peel these guards off.
Yeah, absolutely. Denmark won't be really interested in scoring too many more points in this game. It's more about stopping Scotland scoring now. That's the plan of attack.
Yep, so Scotland are trying to get as many stones in play as possible, and Denmark are trying to have as few in play as possible. So Tom will just ask for another corner guard here.
It's been a little bit of a mixed season for, well, both teams really, but this Brewster team, with all the experience that they have, you'd expect them to be doing a little bit better on the World Curling Tour. Played in 6 events this year and they've made 3 quarter-finals, but just a little bit of inconsistency at time really costing them, and that's just been the same story today. Just slight lapses in concentration costing them shots on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and I think in a game the way that this one's gone, with the first 3 ends blank, with no chances being taken there, when you do move into the ends where you have to take that chance, you've got to make the shots at that point, because that's when you take risks, big ends get lost.
Well, I mean, let's be honest as well, Rona, that in the first 6 ends, the difference really has only been the skip stones. It's been pretty neck and neck all the way, and then it's just slight misjudgments from Team Scotland on Brewster stones, and Rasmus Stjerne really maximising every opportunity. That's really made the difference on the scoreboard here.
Yeah, that's right, Logan. Really, 5th and 6th end, Tom Stones just a few feet either way, and could have been a different result. But you can see here now, Ross is trying to draw around the corner guard.
Tons of room, Phil. I want to just get the seam off it.
They're not so much bothered whether it's top tee, back tee, but what they're looking for is that it's completely buried by the guard.
Good, Ross.
It obviously is, so Rasmus is going to just clear off the guard. And people might wonder why that's a good shot that we just played there from Ross, but it's to try and get something going in the end so that Scotland can score more than 1. They're ignoring the shot stones because they'll come to that later. So a nice peel there from Denmark. So Scotland's left with no cover. So they just need to replace that corner guard.
Weight's good.
Just wait. Room. All Ross.
Line only.
Whoa, line's good now. Whoa.
Weight's good.
Hammy.
Weight's
Stay
good.
in, Hammy. Halfway.
Halfway.
Whoa, whoa. Whoa. Over curl in now. Okay, good.
Kun det samme, ja. Halvdelen. Kun sådan hjørneret. Du kan ikke lige at skyde efter den. Og alternativet er, at du ruller ind i ringen.
Well, another nice draw around there by Scotland. And it's really just a bit of cat and mouse here at the moment. Both teams trying to run the other out of stones in the 7th end. At some stage, Scotland are going to have to make a play on those yellow stones in the 4-foot circle, lying 2 against. And the problem at the moment is with the angle of the two yellows that if they do make a double takeout on the nose, then the Yellowstone at the top of the 4-foot circle is going to direct towards the red on the wing. So that's a complicating factor for Scotland at the moment.
So I think we've got to move. Or you know,
They certainly don't want to lose that red stone in the wing.
Well, you could tap it to here.
No, because that stone out in the wing's their best chance for scoring 2 at the moment.
Okay.
So they're looking at just
Okay, so just that then.
tapping back here.
12. Yeah, if you like. I need to get it out the rings anyway. Well, you only need to push it back 12. Okay.
Nice 12.
12's fine then.
Nice 12, wait.
Give me a hair, because nose is fine.
Nice 12.
So what's important with this shot here, although Glenn's trying to move one back out the house, it's important where his shooter ends up.
Weight's good.
Whoa, room.
Whoa. Weight's good. Real good.
Because Denmark,
Just 12.
they'll be looking for
Over
any
good.
doubles
Over
that they can get.
Room just now. No, nothing.
Weight's still good.
So Scotland won't lie short after this
Hard!
tap back, but they'll lie.
Why are we sweeping?
It's good there.
That's all right, I like that actually.
So that's a pretty good result from Glenn. You heard there, he's happy with that.
No.
Denmark could call their bluff here, Logan. They're lying 2.
Would it have moved out far enough this way?
Yeah, Tom Brewster would have a lot of work to do with just a couple of stones to come as well. So anyway, over on sheet A, we've seen Sweden really pulverizing Germany. Here's Alex Baumann with his final stone of the 6th end, and a chance to get something to finally shout about here in this first session. It looks like it's just going to be a draw for 2. One in there on the button. Nicely done by Alex Baumann. And closes it to a 4-shot game. 6 ends played. Sweden 7, Germany 3.
So back to Rasmus. They're just looking to hit the front one that Glenn's just played. That's top of the 4-foot. Oh, now we weren't expecting that. So he was wide, and he was actually lucky that the red stone of Scotland on the wing stopped his yellow.
Oh, very, very fortuitous. We've seen, I think, a couple of mistakes from Denmark, from Rasmus today, and he's gotten away with both of them. Here's another look at it. I think as soon as he let it go, he knew that was wide by his expression. Just very, very lucky. And again, the springiness of the stones really saving them there. I saw even with the faintest of touches on the yellow stone, that it managed to give it enough speed to push the red out the side door.
So Tom now just playing a draw out to the yellow on the wing.
Yeah, line's good now.
So set up a 2 nicely.
Hard line. Come on, Hammy. Hard line. Gotta go line. You gotta go weight. Hard.
So for line and weight, they're sweeping this.
Come on, Hammy, lead.
Hammy and Ross piling into it.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Can't he run out of line? He's shot.
Well, again, just slightly misplaced. That one curling to the other side of that yellow stone. If it was,
I don't know, it's difficult to tell who's second shot there.
well, one thing's for sure, if they were sitting on the left-hand side of that yellow stone, then it'd be nigh impossible to make the double, but by going across the face of it and over curling, it sets up an opportunity for another one of those big Sterna takeouts. He'd definitely be looking to make a correction on his previous throw.
They're sweeping this one early, so look at that. Perfect.
Well, that shouldn't have been there, and again, it's just those silly little errors, really, that are costing Scotland at the moment. And fair play to Rasmus Sterna. They're not easy shots he's having to play, but Scotland are leaving them, and he's making them. Here's another look makes the thin contact and rolls over and gets that other one as well. Great shot.
Fantastic shot there from Rasmus. But unfortunately, you know, after Rasmus' first stone, Scotland didn't capitalise on that error, because it would have been a great opportunity to get her two here for Scotland. And now Tom's facing two Danish stones, so it's difficult to lift the double and roll out to blank the end. So Tom could be forced to score one here for Scotland. So what's that in Danish, Logan? Just a wee inch here or there.
Oh, it's that wee inch that's making the difference at the moment. And unfortunately for Tom Brewster, he's been on the wrong side of it so far today.
He's good.
So he's just drawing for one now. Sweepers seem happy with it.
Curling now.
Be up to Ross and Hammy to guide it in. Denmark getting a chance. Just too heavy from Tom. And a steal of two for Denmark.
That's got to be a quick rock. Yeah. I'm telling you right now. Has to be.
Well, after 7 ends is Denmark 7, Scotland 1.
Yeah. Okay. There was no way I was heavy there.
Sådan lidt, hvis der er. Warning! Det er perfekt retning. Brug fart. Warning! Vente lidt. Og niveau. Brug fart.
Eighth end, Denmark 7, Scotland 1. If you've just joined us, you're watching live coverage of the 2016 Gruyère European Curling Championships here at Braehead Arena in Renfrewshire, Scotland. First session, Scotland and Denmark, and the home side off to a catastrophic start. Tom Brewster can't even find his brush at the moment. So I see him just using his foot as an aiming point. This is a new approach.
This is a new approach. Oh, there's a brush getting thrown down the ice for him. So looking at the stats there, from the leads point of view, Hammy's at 75% and Oliver Dupong's at 80%. So not much in it for the leads. And Hammy just being asked to put up another corner guard.
Okay, Hammy.
So Hammy really needs to set up the end again the way he did at the last end by putting on the two corners to give Scotland the opportunity to try and build an end. They're now at the 8th end of the game. With 6 shots down, Scotland need to start building and try and score a big end here.
God fart. Warning. Tryk til, dreng. Fart er fint. Okay. Køler lidt meget, dreng, så. Hernede.
Well, a slight mistake from Denmark going back at the tee line with the first one. So that could be an opportunity for Scotland at some point to freeze against.
So interestingly now, Tom's asked for a centre guard.
Make a difference. Fucking hell.
So Hammy just playing an out-turn draw. He's just moving about the guards a wee bit to try and get something going here.
No, no, we're 2. No, 1. That's good. Go. Oh, you got to go to get it over.
Oh dear. So you can see Hammy Stone there not reaching over the hog line, so it's removed from play.
Well, they've had problems with a couple of stones here today. Obviously, that number 8 stone of Tom's seems to be a little bit quick, but that number 2 stone seems to be, they said earlier that it was definitely swinging and cutting, so quite possibly it would indicate that it's a little bit slow as well, hence the stone coming up short of the hog line and not making it into play. But big mistake there by Mikael Poulsen. The old fresh air shot. And an opportunity there for Scotland. Over on sheet E. Here's the Russian skip, Alexei Timofev. And trying to make a raise here. Doesn't get enough curl and gives up a steal of 1. And Italy just nibble 1 back into that 3-shot deficit. It's now Russia 5, Italy 3.
Let's leave him up here then.
We're 2.
So back to Scotland-Denmark game, and Denmark failing to peel the corner guard.
Definitely getting slower.
Scotland putting up another guard. You heard there the players saying it's getting a wee bit slower, Logan, the ice. Slowing down as the game's gone on.
That is something that they need to monitor as they go along. Ross Patterson winning the battle at second.
Yeah, both seconds having a good game. They tried to take the double peel there, but they'll be happy just to remove 1.
So all Scotland can do at the moment is throw guards. They've not really got enough cover to generate the amount of score that they would look for here in the 8th end to give them a realistic chance of getting back into this game. Really need to score 3 as a minimum here in the 8th end, I would suggest. Even then, it would be a long road back.
Yep, so Scotland continuing trying just to get the cover up here. You might wonder why they're guarding the opposition stones in the house, but Scotland just need to get something going and force an error from Denmark so that they can get cover and draw around behind.
Oh, what have we got here?
Just like that.
Well, that's what Scotland are needing, really, is mistakes like that one. And they've had 2 complete misses in this end, so they really need to be taking this opportunity while it's there. They've not had many today.
They've not, but as you say, 2 misses from Denmark in the one end. So now Scotland have got the opportunity. They've got the cover out there. So we need to make sure that Scotland can take advantage here of these errors.
Lines. Okay, we got room just now. Room.
Well, if there was anything good about that previous shot, at least it removed the stone behind the tee line, which could have been an opportunity for Scotland. But these red guards were definitely a lot more threatening. That's a lovely draw there by Glenn Muirhead.
Great shot from Glenn. And really, Logan, there's not been many chances in the game for Scotland to get drawing behind guards because Denmark have not let them have many guards out there. So
yeah, even Stevens at the 3rd position, 93% each. Good play. And Rasmus was looking at running the centre line onto the wide one. He's changed his mind, Is that a good decision, Rona?
I think so. I think it's the right call to take the guard off the shot just now. You know, they're enough up in the game.
Well, absolutely. If you ever missed that,
And look at that.
if you ever missed that double with the centre line one, then Scotland are just pouring another one in behind the corner guard. So it's a good call, and again a little bit of a lucky outcome for Denmark.
Yeah, it's removed all cover from the front of the house now, so Scotland need to play about with the stones in the house. So Tom's asked Glenn to freeze this one.
It's all the more difficult now, isn't it, Rona? It's much more difficult to make these opportunities in the house than when you've got the guards out front.
Definitely, as a skip, as long as you've got that one guard there, you know you can use it, and you can use it as good cover. But as soon as they take a double on the guards, you're really then. Oh, and Glenn was just really unfortunate there.
It's nobody's fault.
But it's still another Scottish counter in the house.
Deres ben, de stoppede her helt nu. Det virker som om banen er lidt funky, som om der er lidt frost på den. Ja, jeg kan godt lide. Ja, rulle derover, ja. Lille rulle derover. Det virker som om der er ved at være noget frost derinde. Det virker en lille smule. For hans garde blev kort, og hans næste garde blev kort. Jeg vil bare helst ikke have en, I kan fejle på.
Bare slæb den et halvt sekund op. Så.
Ja, 9. Lille rulle meter til venstre.
Ja, det er godt.
Well, of all the takeouts that have been played today, this is certainly one of the easiest ones for Rasmus. Difficult to get good separation between the shot stone and the one that's been thrown. And actually finds not too bad a spot there somehow. They are extremely close together, but not that straightforward to make the double takeout and stick around to lie to. I think they'll be more than happy with their morning's work on this return to the European Championships for Denmark after a year in the wilderness.
Yep, it's been a great start from Denmark this morning. So this 8th end, Tom looking to lift the double takeout on the yellows here in lie 2.
Whoa! Whoa! Right off! Right off! Close! Whoa!
And makes that perfectly. So Scotland lie 2.
Yeah, great shot, but that's been the real difference today there. The difference between the skips, 10%. Rasmus Stjerne has been on fire, and then even when he has missed a shot, he's got a good result. So it's just been one of those days for Tom Brewster. Been contending with the stones a little bit, I think. Certainly appears after the last end that Tom Brewster may have a quick number 8 stone. It's cost him a couple of times.
And that's where the pre-game matching of stones is really quite crucial, to make sure that each player is happy with their matching stones. So you see Rasmus there, Logan, he whistles a lot. Why does he do that?
Well, I don't know many teams that would entertain it, to be perfectly honest, but it seems to work for these guys. And you know, if there is anything really good about it, is that it's a noise that sounds that stands out from the dull roar of the stones and the shouting. So he uses that whistle to make them stop sweeping, is his main thing. But yeah, it kind of works. I don't think everybody would entertain it, as I say, but
is it to avoid or to help the team hear above other noise, or is it to save his voice? Or
yeah, absolutely. I would say that's. I think it's probably started out as a bad habit, to be perfectly honest. But it works, and as I said, it's just a noise that stands out from the other noises in the rink, and it really gets the response they're looking for. So we saw a draw earlier, kind of around about 14 seconds going past the tee line. So this should be just about right, maybe even a little bit quicker than it was earlier. So finds the forfeit, and it's a score of 1. Trailing by, score of 2, sorry. Trailing by 4 after 8 ends. It's Denmark 7, Scotland 3.
Just a few short years ago, Las Vegas first emerged on the world's curling radar. Today, it's the world's curling hotbed, with 2 Continental Cups already in the attendance record books, a 3rd one ready to rock this coming January, and the biggest one of all, the World Men's Championship, coming in 2018. For complete details, visit LasVegasCurling.rocks.
You gotta be there. Las Vegas rocks.
So back into the
Looks good, Ross.
Scotland-Denmark game here, going into 9th end. Scotland are 4 down. So looking to put up some cover.
Yeah, we mentioned the free guard zone earlier on. It's that white area out in front of the house. So Denmark will not be able to remove that red stone from play. However, they can move it around. So they're going to try and move it to a slightly less threatening position. Move it to the side of the sheet where it's not blocking the path into the button.
So this is a tick shot, as known. They're just trying to tick it off the centre line. And does that pretty well.
Yeah, it's been a shot that's, I think once was almost you didn't call it because you always thought you were going to miss it, but nowadays it's really something that's extremely well practiced and well executed by the leads. And it is a useful weapon. Definitely makes things a lot easier for the skip when it's their turn to play.
Yes, definitely, because the lead's a key member of the team, setting up the ends.
Room now.
So Hamid just putting up another centre guard there.
Well, back over to sheet A. Another one-sided game. Niklas Edin with the final stone of the 7th end. And looks like he's just drawing for 2 on extremely good form. The 2014 and 2015 European champions. Actually won 3 of the last 4, Niklas Edin. And coming into this one off the back of 2 Grand Slam victories. And showing no signs of letting up on Germany. Another score of 2. And after 7 ends, it's Sweden 9, Germany 3.
So we can see here, Denmark have played another fantastic tick shot. So it means the house is open for the skip. But Scotland now need to try and just keep putting cover up and hope for that error from Denmark, which we saw in the last end. There was 2 errors from Denmark when they were peeling the guards. So Scotland just need to keep plugging away and hope for another error.
Rona, when this happens and your opposition do make 2 great tick shots like that, is there any place for kind of a change of mindset, a change of approach to the end?
Yeah, as a skip, your heart does sink a wee bit when you've got no cover left and the lead's played 2 great shots. But yeah, you can either use the corners that are there, and I know the centre's wide open, and any skip just wants that draw to play with their last stone. So when you've got no cover for Scotland here, they can really just use the corners, or they can keep persevering, putting up centre guards. But Denmark are hitting well, so it's not likely they're going to make many errors. So Scotland just have to make use of what's there.
So that one rolls out of play and over on sheet B. another one-sided game. Norway with that big steal of 5 in the third end, blowing the game wide open. Here's Aku Kausta with his final stone of the 7th end. And this one's going to overcurl. It's going to be a steal of 1 for Norway. And they take a 10-3 lead, and the handshakes come in. And we get our first victory here of this 2016 European Championships, and it goes to Norway. Final score, Norway 10, Finland 3.
So we just see there Ross drawing behind these corner guards. As we said, you just have to use what's there.
Sorry, I thought
So Scotland have come round the corner, and Ross has played a great draw round. But at this moment, Denmark don't feel threatened because
a good look at the sweeping. Glenn Muirhead and Hammy McMillan on the brushes. Try to drag that one down there for weight, of course. It can affect sweeping can affect the weight, the distance that the stone travels, and also the line, how much it curls. So that's why they're doing it. Not just doing it so that everybody's got a job. So we just had a little bit of a break in play here while we sort out another technical issue. So this is the kind of pros and cons of technology, I guess, Rona. It's you get to take the human error out of the hogline judgments, but at the same time, it can cause these delays in the game. I think this might actually be a loose handle rather than a handle malfunction.
Because Scotland had a loose handle earlier on, so now it's Denmark's turn, I think. So obviously if the lights aren't working for the hogline side of things, you can put an umpire on the hogline to watch that the stone is released before the hogline. But if you've got a loose handle, there's not really much you can do but sort it before you can play. So I think after the first game night, the technicians will need to be getting their screwdrivers out and making sure the handles are as tight as they can be, because there's quite a few gone loose today already.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Rona. Anyway, over on sheet E, here's Russia and Italy, 8th end, and here's Timofev throwing his final stone of the 8th end. Leading by 5 shots to 3. And what's he done here, I wonder? Well, that was a chance to score 2. Hits it a little bit thin and rolls out. And a real let off there for Italy. Russia 6, Italy 3. So we've still not got this problem sorted.
Mark Callan's had a busy day today.
Certainly has.
Well, you can see him unscrewing, so the bolt goes the whole way through the stone into the handle. But obviously the handles are the special ones that have got the lights fitted in them for the hog line, so maybe just they've not been as tight when they've been fitted. But easily sorted, and just a wee break in play. There we go, all good, ready to play now.
Stirning.
So we're finally ready to get the game underway once more. Mikael Poulsen just going to try and rattle some red granite out of play here. Gets one. Oh, doesn't even get one and leaves guards. And rolls one to the centre line as well. So that's the kind of mistake that Scotland were looking for. Final score over on sheet A. Sweden 9, Germany 4. And the defending champions off to a perfect start here at Braehead. Sweden just a bit too hot to handle for Germany here this morning.
Nicholas looking quite happy with his first game's performance.
Yes, line. Top tee. Yes, line.
So, advantage here to Scotland after that error from Denmark.
We're on the guard, guys.
They left the red guard covering the shot in the house, and they've left another guard. So we were trying, Tom was asking Glenn to draw around that guard, but unfortunately that's come up short.
Don't know the pick.
Glenn's looking a bit confused by that result.
Yeah, a bit of discussion there as to why that came up so short. Scotland just haven't got on top of anything really today. Haven't got on top of the ice conditions. Certainly haven't got on top of the stones. Johnny Fredrickson he's been exceptional today. A chance to clear the centre of play with this takeout.
So that was a good result from Johnny, but there are still guards and cover there for Scotland.
It was a bit of a missed opportunity though, wasn't it, with Glenn Muirhead's previous stone.
And that's where at this level of the game, you know, when you get an opportunity, you have to take it. You don't get two chances. So they're just asking for another centre guard. So that's what his skip asked for.
Altså får du den derovre er det bonus, jeg tror jeg. Hvis du rammer en god halvdel, John, så er der ikke nogen, der bliver ring.
So Johnny just looking to peel the Scottish stone out the way.
Whoa, set, whoa, whoa, set, whoa, down, yes, hard. Come on, buddy. That a boy. Well done, Johnny.
Oh, and took the one out the house as well.
Johnny.
Well, Johnny Fredrickson can't throw it as hard as some players out there, but he is deadly accurate. And he gets it absolutely spot on there.
He's had a great game today, Johnny. Makes things easier for his skip.
So he just can't quite generate as much speed and maybe a little bit more kind of weight on his back foot than some of the other players like Glenn Muirhead, for example. But absolutely deadly accurate and just picks that one off the wing and removes it from a scoring position as well. Super shot.
Line's good. We're heavy. Line's good. We're heavy. That's hot. It's heavy.
Well, everyone's standing back from this one.
Tom's looking to draw round this corner guard again.
Sit. Doubt it.
That's just too heavy and goes out the back of the rings.
Back eight, but not that back.
So a wasted shot there because it could even be short and give them a guard that Denmark might not need to peel, but
it's just the lines that were
certainly
up the middle.
there's been a bit of problems today with Tom Stones and the weight he's throwing.
Well, it certainly has, and I'm sure, Rona, at some point in your career, it just happens that sometimes you make a bad start in a tournament, and it is a long week. How do you overcome this?
It is a long week ahead of the guys, and it's only the first game, so they've got to just refocus, learn from their game today, learn from the stones, learn from the ice, and just review tactical decisions at times, and then go into the next game absolutely focused. And it's been this game because you can't influence what's just happened, so it's just learn from it and move on.
Well, not a huge amount to work with here for Scotland. The one opportunity that has been created here is that stone has just gone past the tee line, so it can be frozen. If Rasmus had come up short of the tee line, then he would have had to remove it from play. So
yeah, it gives Tom the opportunity to play a good freeze here. We haven't seen Rasmus draw much at all today. He's really been hitting most ends, so it be good to ask the question, if Scotland can ask the question of Denmark to play a dead draw.
It's definitely less. Whoa. Whoa.
So Hammy and Ross guiding this stone in.
Line's good now. Ross only.
So this is a key shot. Freeze is a hard shot, so you've got to get the weight and the line both absolutely right. Just a wee bump there.
Well, just a little bit too much speed again, and that will be easily removed. And I think we can fully expect this to be the last shot of the game. If Denmark were to score here in the 9th end, they would have a 5-shot lead, and I can't see Scotland playing on in that position.
No, these are the shots that Denmark, Rasmus especially, loves to play.
Well, we did see him miss on this line a couple of ends ago. I think he'll be erring a little bit more on the safe side this time and being somewhere around the nose. Doesn't look like there's too much panic here at all. Clean picks it and scores one. And will that be enough?
Yep,
I think it is.
Handshakes all round.
So, a super start for Denmark on their return to the A group. The B champions from last year rolling the home nation by a scoreline of 8-3. And it's that man, Stjarne. He's been the difference today. And confirmed, final score Denmark 8, Scotland 3. Oh, Tom Brewster couldn't get out of there fast enough.
Yeah, I think lessons to be learnt from today's first game, and you know, lots of games left for Scotland to come back and fight strong and hard in.
So it's just a horrible patch in the middle of the game, really, for Scotland. 4th to 7th end. Just really can't afford to drop 7 shots in 4 ends, and yeah, Scotland just couldn't find their way back. It's a long week, though, as Rona said. Well, we've moved over to sheet C, Austria and Switzerland. Switzerland leading by 5-4, and they do have the last stone in the 9th end here.
Sorry, timeout.
Perhaps a slightly tighter game than they might have been expecting. The cruise ring, although they are young, very experienced. And this Austrian side, it's their first outing at the European Curling Championship. Sebastian Wunderer, the skip there.
Yep, this Austrian team have moved up from the B division last year into the A this year, so slightly less experienced of a team, but as you say, Logan, a very close game, only 1 shot in it.
Well, they seem to be improving every time they've been involved in the European Championship. Sebastian Wunderer, 2013, they came 10th in the B Championship. Then in 2014, they were 6th. Then last year they were 2nd, and they're going to improve on that this year just by being in the A group. So getting better all the time, this young Austrian side. I would like to take some credit because I coached them at Fussen all those years ago when they were a junior. So
there you go, Logan.
And they've got a pretty respectable coach out there with them, haven't they, Rona?
Absolutely, Mr. Kapp from Germany. is helping this Austrian side, so a lot of knowledge and experience there.
Yeah, Mr. Cap of the Uli variety rather than the Andy variety.
Yes, sorry.
Both brothers played together for a lot of years for Germany, having huge amounts of success on the international stage.
Yeah, and I think the big decision, you know, for Austria here, it is getting to the closing stages of the game. So they just want that advice from their coach as really the best shot to play.
Yeah, so Austria throwing the red stones and Switzerland throwing the yellows. Well, going by the ice that's been given, it looks like just a quiet weight take out. Just going to remove the yellow stone and the 8 foot and try and roll in front of the one on the back line.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa! Ganz weg. Achtung! Whoa!
Sweeping now, so just trying to remove that and roll over on top. Just a fraction too far. But a good attempt there. So it gives Switzerland the opportunity to now take that red stone out and lie 2.
Another final score over on sheet E. Russia managed to stave off the threat of Italy and secure their first win of the week. Final score there, Russia 7, Italy 3.
So sweeping this hard to hold the line. Oh, and an error there from Switzerland. That was an opportunity to lie 2 there.
Yeah.
And he was just a bit tight of line and jammed. So, an empty house.
Well, to be honest, I think Switzerland will be more than happy to blank here in the 9th end and keep the last stone for the 10th with their 1-shot lead. So they'll be quite happy to have just cleared the house, and it looks like it's going to be an inevitable outcome here in the 9th end. Well, he gets mighty close to that hog line. Ronal's thought that on both of his stones. And I guess that again just demonstrates the benefit of this eye on the hog technology that we have in the handles. Any umpire with somebody going that close to the hog line could be forgiven for pulling a stone like that off, but
Definitely, and it's also quite hard when the sweepers are at either side, so for that umpire to see 100% accurately the release point is very, very difficult. So this takes away any doubt to have the lights on the handle.
Peter de Cruz there holding the brush. He actually skips and throws the 3rd stones for this Swiss team. Not exactly the traditional approach, but it has worked well in the past with the likes of the Furby 4 back in the early 2000s.
Yep, so blank end there. So going into the 10th end, you would have to favour Switzerland at the moment, 1 up with the hammer.
And after 9 ends, it's Switzerland 5, Austria 4.
So here we are in the 10th end. The lead for Austria will be attempting to put up some guards.
And if you've just joined us, you're watching live coverage of the 2016 Le Gruyère European Curling Championships, live from the Braehead Arena in Renfrewshire in Scotland. My name's Logan Gray, and alongside me, 2002 Olympic gold medalist Rona Howie. And our featured game was Scotland and Denmark. However, we had an early call on that one. 9 ends only played there, and Denmark taking that one by 8 shots to 3. So we're just wrapping things up here in this first draw by covering the conclusion of Switzerland and Austria. Switzerland leading by 5 to 4, and there is the scores elsewhere here in this first session. Sweden beating Germany, Norway beating Finland, Denmark beating Scotland, and Russia beating Italy. Here's Philippe Nottegaard, the 23-year-old Austrian lead.
Yep, we put up a good guard with his first one, and Switzerland tried to tick it because they can't remove it from play, but didn't make that, so it gave Austria the opportunity. They've come round, Logan, and I thought they might put up another guard at this stage, but they've chosen to come round.
Well, there's the Austrian and the Swiss team, same jackets pretty much. It's tough to work out which one's which out there. Here's Valentin Tanner, left-hander.
Yep, he tried to tick the... So this time he's coming around to try and tap back the one in the house, which he's done perfectly.
Yeah, nicely done there. Slightly more difficult shot for a left-hander, that one, coming from the hack on the other side of the centre line. But makes easy work of it.
So now Austria will just ignore the stone in the house, and they'll put up another guard.
So here's Martin Reichel from Kitzbühel. Been curling for 10 years, and he's really been by Sebastian's side in the last couple of years at European Championships.
Unlucky there, just to leave both stones easily accessible for Switzerland to take a double takeout, because they can now hit. They're onto their second player. Austria were looking for a wee bit more separation between the two guards.
Oh, so actually Peter de Cruz throwing second stones. That's a change for me. He's always thrown third stones in the past, but it certainly looks like Claudio Paz has moved up through the ranks to throw third.
They're just trying to keep you on your toes, Logan.
Certainly are.
So looking for the double here. Oh, and they only take one guard away. So it gives Austria the opportunity to put up another guard with better separation between them. Switzerland have got last stone advantage at this last end, so looking to keep the front clear. Whereas Austria are wanting it as blocked up as possible.
Luisa, Sie stammen dahinter.
Well, a mistake there by the Austrians. Leave the red stones a little bit too close together, and this should be a very straightforward double for Peter de Cruz. Peter de Cruz, actually born in London, but lives and curls in Geneva these days. Finalist last year, this Swiss team picking up the silver medal, of course, in Esbjerg in Denmark. losing out to
Huh? Nur Länge. Linie ist gut. Eher Mürz.
So here's Matthias Genner. Again, from Kitzbühel. He's an account manager and enjoys a bit of skiing as well.
So Austria just looking to keep replacing the cover here. It's a good double takeout from Switzerland, so they need to get the cover back up and hopefully force an error from Switzerland. Claudio Pats just going to remove the guard, which he does perfectly. Oh, he's smiling, happy with his performance, obviously, there. Claudio lives in Zurich. He's just been in this team for 2 years, so it's a very young Swiss team, but a lot of experience and very successful so far.
Well, absolutely, Rona, and let's not forget that Claudio Pats came from a very experienced team as well, and I think it can be really productive when there's that shared learning that takes place, and that they have two different ways of doing things that they can compare from two different teams, and they can find the best ways to do it. So Claudio Pats did, of course, play with Sven Michael, who's chosen to take a bit of a sabbatical this year, and he isn't playing. But Claudio Pats has been with the team for a couple of years, and he's also the brother of Alina Pats, who won the World Championship a couple of years ago. So I'm sure they have some interesting tactical discussions around
their Christmas
the
dinner table. Salt and pepper's getting moved around. So yeah, it's a good clear-up job here from Switzerland, just keeping the house as clear as possible. Austria down to the skip stones now.
Well, and that might just be the difference that Austria see this week, and that when it does come down to these crucial final moments of the game, you need to get your stone position absolutely right, because you might get away with it in the B division, but with the quality and the experience of the teams here in the A, that they're going to be punished for it, and they certainly have been here in the 10th end. Not getting their guards in the right spot, and the Swiss middle order tidying up nicely.
And that's where they've got to, learn from this experience coming up from the B group last year into the A this year. It is how do you finish off these games, and it's playing the right tactics at the right time. And I don't think, his tactics have been good here. It's more just the stone positioning from some of their guards to allow Switzerland to lift a double. So they've replaced the guard here, so asking the question.
Would you say there'll be a difference in goals between these two teams as in the context of the whole week?
Yes, definitely. Switzerland are obviously coming here as strong medal contenders and would be expecting to be in that medal podium. And he just peels that guard off nicely. Whereas, Austria coming up, fairly young team, inexperienced, but, they got through the B, they're up in the A, so great experience for them to come here and really, they can absolutely win games, but it's what they can learn and take from it moving forward. To play like Nicholas Edin and Tom Brewster and Thomas Ulsrud, all they can do is learn and improve themselves.
And how important will Uli Kapp be to that process as the team coach?
Very much so. I think, Uli's played a lot of these guys as well over the years, and he's got a lot of experience. So the tactical side of the game for these guys is what's going to drive them forward in years to come. So Uli's got a lot of experience to help them. And the best way to learn the tactical side of the game is by playing it and playing against these top guys that, you know, have been there for years and learning from any mistakes you make. And it's not even, it's the wrong shot, it's just another option, the way the stones are lying, and that's all a learning process. So it's a great opportunity for Austria to be in this A division and be running Switzerland to the last end in their first game.
No, absolutely, and I think for me, I think that that's definitely one of the positives that, or the kind of positives that Uli Kapp is going to have to draw on throughout the game, throughout the week. That I think Austria can expect to lose quite a lot of games this week, but they are a young team playing at a new level to them, so it's going to be important to.
Unlucky there, he was just trying to come up and lie short, and he was just a pound light in weight and left Switzerland lying short. So handshakes there.
Yep, Switzerland eventually get their win here in the first session, but Austria certainly made it a lot more difficult for them than they would have hoped. But Switzerland do come through that one unscathed, and there's the final score: Switzerland 6, Austria 4. Still a lot of positives to be taken from this one for Sebastian Wunderer and his Austrian outfit. Running the European silver medalists right to the end. Scotland against Denmark. Here in the sixth end, Tom Brewster a little bit too heavy with his final stone. It runs on down there side by side, sets up the double, and Rasmus Stjerne makes it look easy and puts 3 on the board to open the game up. Denmark 5, Scotland 1. And then on here in the seventh end, Tom Brewster with his final stone just needs to hit the 8 foot to keep Scotland alive here in session 1. And it just keeps going and going. And Fredriksson gets that one through the 8 foot, and a steal of 2 for Denmark, 7-1. And then on to the ninth end. Tom Brewster again, just a fraction heavy with his freeze attempt on his final stone. A last gasp effort, but leaves an easy shot for Rasmus Stjerne to pick it out, score 1, and secure the first victory of the week for Denmark. Final score, Denmark 8, Scotland 3. And here are all the final scores here in this first session of the men's event. Sweden beating Germany by 9-4, Norway beating Finland by 10-3, Switzerland beating Austria by 6-4, and Russia beating Italy by 7-3.
Rasmus, great win over Scotland. How does it feel to be back in the A group at the European Championships?
That's something special. We had the chat yesterday that we were in the Bs last year and we missed out on home ice, and just to be in the A again is really big for us.
So were you expecting a stronger performance from Scotland today?
I think I did, yeah, but I think they had some unfortunate breaks and we had the good breaks. So while the scoreboard might say it was really one-sided, I felt it was tight until a break, and then we got a big 3 in just after the break.
Yeah, early on in the game there wasn't a lot of stones in play. Were you just trying to find your feet with the ice?
Yeah, I think both teams had that agreement really that we needed just to throw ourselves into the game, into the event. So I think we both had that, like, okay, let's keep it simple. And I didn't really feel we turned it up a lot, but they just had a few key misses, and we made the ones we needed. So.
Okay, well done. Thank you, Rasmus, and best of luck the rest of the week.
So you go, the thoughts of the winning skip, Rasmus Stjerne of Denmark, here in this first session at the Braehead Arena. The final score, Denmark 8, Scotland 3. From myself, Logan Gray, and Rona Howie. Thanks for watching. and join us for more coverage from Braehead this afternoon.